Welcome to Golden Mastermind Seminars Radio with your host, Jeffery Combs.
Good afternoon, Jeffery Combs. I am running a little behind here today, being productive in the Golden Mastermind Seminar Studios. If you are here with me today on this beautiful last Tuesday in July, welcome aboard. I'm experiencing espresso, so good to be here with you. I saw some really unique content on how coffee is just another conspiracy, and it's interesting though. I watched the whole history of coffee and why most of the coffee that we consume is not good coffee, and for coffee connoisseur, it was unique. Topic for today's Facebook Live, then I will move over to Instagram. So I have been doing back-to-back lives on Facebook and then Instagram on the same topic. And it is unique, so I don't just do one and then it goes over there. I'll do live ones on each. So good to be here with you on Tuesday, Facebook Live, Numismatic Law, the laws that govern money. In 1999, I produced this audio, at the time, CD set called Principles for Prosperity. And this is what the old CDs looked like back in the day. And this was an 8 CD set. And these used to fly out the door. And that was my first real content on the laws that govern money, Numismatic Law. And anyone who understands money is also called a numisticist, someone who understands the laws that govern money. I started buying gold and paper money, rare paper money, in the 90s. I have a few bills left over that say payable to bearer on demand in gold coin. And if you understand that was pre-1933, so those bills are relatively valuable. Good to be here with you on a Tuesday afternoon, the laws that govern money. So if you live in a scarcity consciousness, a lack consciousness, a poverty consciousness, you have a lot of debt and you continue to hold on to the same situation over and over to fulfill the neurochemical craving of being emotionally addicted to a set of circumstances and feelings, then you will live in a money payoff. And the money payoff is scarcity, worry about money, worry about the future, you're overwhelmed, and you keep recreating the same situation to fulfill the same set of circumstances and feelings. And if you are in that state right now, the way to let go of that situation is to have a better understanding about how scarcity, lack, and poverty consciousness became a way of life. 20,000 meals with the wrong financial planners, and that is often a byproduct of what you learn from money with your parents or with your surrounding family. So if you come from a family of strugglers, noble strugglers, who talked about money, lack, scarcity, how difficult money was, money doesn't grow on trees, we're from the wrong side of the tracks. At one point, I have saved over 200 terms that reference money. Good afternoon, Jason. Good to see you. I saved over 200 terms and have it on a PowerPoint that I occasionally do when I do money workshops. So when you are living in prosperity consciousness, there's a different level of flow to life and money will come to you more easily and effortlessly. So if you're a contractor, people will find your services, they're calling you up and they're reaching out to you. If you're skilled at marketing and you have an abundance of leads, and you're skilled at closing the sales, qualifying the buyer, then money's going to have a different flow for you. But if you're in scarcity, poverty consciousness, lack, overwhelmed, and worry about money that hasn't happened, you'll continue to live in fight or flight. And this will hinder your ability to be creative and innovative when it comes to money. You'll have challenges closing sales because of your guilt about money. If you don't feel you deserve it, then you'll recreate situations over and over to fulfill your scarcity consciousness. You'll sabotage the money. It is a very common commonality. And then if you are an addicted debtor or chronic debtor or gambler, you'll end up losing money that you didn't have, that's not even yours, and then you'll end up paying points on the spread. I mean, that's in mafia terms, that'd be the vigor of the juice. And this is what lending institutions do. They just prey on people who are not responsible for money. And then there are companies that buy up debt. So the debt you create, they buy it up. It's actually an asset. It's bizarre. When you begin to understand it, it will click for you. The Federal Reserve, there's nothing federal and there's no reserves. The Federal Reserve was established in 1913, and one of my associates and friends, G. Edward Griffin, wrote the premier book on the topic called The Creature from Jekyll Island, and Laura Sanger, Sanger, who has an Instagram account. You can follow her. I follow her content. She has great content on the fallen angels, the Nephilims, and the Canaanite bloodline. I highly recommend you follow her, Laura Sanger. But she also did a book on the history of the Federal Reserve. I have it. It's a big book. It's awesome. Griffin's book is a must. You should own it. The Creature from Jekyll Island. And as I said, I've shared the stage with him multiple times and sold his book from my stage to my audience. And so the skill of money is going to come down to how I feel about myself, how I feel about asking, deserving, and receiving. And this is if you're on my email list, I covered it right in here. And that was point number 3, asking, deserving, and receiving. And if you're not a skilled receiver, there's a high probability that you have labeled yourself a giver. And then you'll confuse yourself with the term serving with service. For you to create money in free enterprise, it's a service value proposition. And you're offering exceptional service at a high value. And the more that you value yourself, the higher the probability that people will recognize you for your value. And if you're not valuable, then people will pass you over. And once again, if you're a general contractor or you're a coach or you're offering your service for money, but you don't value yourself, then you're in a mixed money message. And your ego lower self and a signal to noise ratio is casting the burden into the universe that please buy from me, but don't because I'm not good enough. So this is what's called a mixed money message. This is also why people spend so much time talking to people who don't qualify for their time, and because they're too nice to let them go, they're too guilty, they talk too much, and they waste way too much time on someone who's not a qualified buyer. Now, common sense would dictate if you're selling a $4 million home, you wouldn't go over to someone, you wouldn't pick someone up and drive them to a home if they don't qualify for a loan or have the money. Now, for most people that computes, but when selling a dream or selling a business venture or other situations, most people are too uncomfortable to ask the questions to qualify the buyer because of their own codependent addiction that they continue to hold on to. So their story in their head is, I don't want to offend someone, I don't want to bother them, I don't want to make them angry at me, I don't want them to think I'm trying to sell them something, and all these other stories that many people invent to sabotage their money. Money does not sabotage you, you sabotage it. Money does not have a conscience, money is an energy. And if you're not skilled in understanding the energy of money, it will end up somewhere else. So a skilled drug dealer is skilled at creating money through their commerce. And once again, this is just the law of the world. A skilled real estate broker, real estate agent will be skilled at creating money because they're certain with their product. And if you're not comfortable with yourself, and then you're casting that burden out there, if you're in a mixed message, sending this into the universe, then you're just going to create the same situation over and over to fulfill the same set of circumstances. And this is how so many people end up getting chewed up in the debt cycle. I've encountered hundreds, thousands of people who in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s live in poverty consciousness, lack scarcity, have a low credit score, no credit, and no credit cards, and no money. This is an epidemic that a large percent of the population lives in. And then they also have no assets. They're 40, 56 years old, and they have no retirement. They have no insurance policies. They have no money. They are flat broke. They are chronic debtors. And this is a large percent of the world in society. And if this is you, this is an addiction you take a good look at. There's a 12-step program called Debtors Anonymous. There's also a program that many people are unaware of. It's called Underachievers Anonymous, which is another common situation that many people do because their own dialogue with money, their feelings about low self-worth, not feeling good enough or deserving, they live in this low self-esteem of not being good enough, then underachieve, under-earn. And when these people start a business, they usually whine and complain and quit the first, and they quit first. They quit the easiest. They don't have the courage to address the cause that creates the effect, and then they will find blame in someone else and move on to the next latest, greatest venture. And these people are called junkies. And this is what many people are. They're money junkies. There's a book called Money Drunk, Money Sober. It has 5 different personality types for money. My favorite one is the big deal chaser. And I have seen so many people do this. I've seen people bankrupt hundreds of thousands of dollars, big deal chasing. And then they go out and they get their credit back, and they don't address the cause that creates the effect, and they go out and repeat the behavior. It's no different than getting clean and sober for a short period of time, being JoJo the Indian Circus Boy, not really having a platform or a recipe to stay sober, and just white knuckling it, and then eventually relapsing. I've coached people who've gone bankrupt 2 and 3 times because that's their dialogue with money. And once again, if you grow up with scarcity, if your money talk in your household isn't healthy, it doesn't always this way, but it can influence your ability to create money or your feelings about money. So if you live in a scarcity, lack, poverty consciousness, and you're building a business, it won't happen. Because your ability to attract prosperous people is completely shut down because your emotional vibration is a very low circle of energy. It's only around 9 feet. Well, when you're in higher consciousness, when you're prosperous, when you're in reciprocity, when you're in the flow of money, when you're a good tipper, where you're able to put money in motion and you're not worried about it, you're not worried about future money, you will have it flow to you more effortlessly and easily through people, service, and value that you're offering. And then if you're comfortable in asking for the commitment, and you'll have people who will buy from you more frequently. But if you're so uncomfortable with it, you're just waiting for someone to buy from you because you're a good person. So they should buy from me because I'm a good person. Well, the good person theory doesn't hold any merit because people will buy from you because they like you and they're buying you. But if you don't buy you, if you're in a mixed message, why am I going to buy you? If you're uncertain, why should I sign up with you? Why should I join you? Why should I hire you to be my contractor? If you can't get a bid to me, if you're in an overwhelmed state, and I'm not going to beg you to get a bid to me. I've seen this happen in contracting thousands of times where the contractor shows up and then never follows through. It's happened to me with contractors where they never came through with the bid, and I'm not going to beg them. I mean, I'm looking for people who are on my property now or will give me some level of commitment. And if they're backed up and they give me a commitment, I mean, they're backed up. That means they're valuable. So that's also part of this whole process. That's what you want to evaluate. E-value. See, there's the term. E-value, just like inspiration is in spirit. Well, evaluate your value. But if you devalue yourself and you don't feel you're good enough, that's a mixed money message based on not feeling comfortable to ask, deserve, and receive. It's an epidemic. This is where most of society lives. And if this is you, today is a very good day to practice the skill set of letting go. The original book that I read, Money is My Friend, I bought the rights to it in 2002. I sold 10,000 copies of that book. I published 3 chapters in it and then sold 10,000 copies. That was Phil Lott's book. I started listening to Prosperity Consciousness by Frederick Lehrman in 1996. I listened to that audio cassette series over and over. Prosperity Consciousness, Frederick, Fredric, Lehrman. I started doing money workshops in early 2000. I started teaching money skills. And I'm not talking investing skills. I'm talking spiritual money skills. The ability in spirit, in inspiration, in spirit, in prosperity, prospero, in the flow, to be able to be in the hands-free zone where it, whatever it is, comes to you more frequently. You're in the flow. Business comes to you. People come to you. Offers come to you because of the person you are becoming. You're in a let go process, and your free enterprise businesses or wherever you are in life, and you're creating outcomes that are favorable to win-win situations in life. There's a trade-off in energy, and you feel good about yours, and you're sending it out, and people will buy it from you. So when you're skilled at attracting people, Stuart Wilde used to have this quote. He said, attract people to you, then bill them. I mean, that's in one of the, if you want, there's an old Stuart Wilde video of him doing a money workshop in Taos, New Mexico, 1986. It's brilliant. Stuart Wilde wrote the book, he wrote the book, he wrote the book, The Little Money Bible, and he wrote the book, The Trick to Money is Having Some. So breathe, release, and let go in a relaxed body. Jeffery Combs, president and founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. Breathe, release, and let go in a relaxed body. Bye.